The Thorn Birds captivated audiences with its sweeping drama Forbidden Love and unforgettable characters leaving a lasting mark on television history. Behind the unforgettable performances, tragedy struck some of the show's beloved actors, cutting short the lives of those who brought these iconic roles to life. From rising stars to seasoned performers, their untimely passings left fans heartbroken and reminded us that real life can be as dramatic as any story on screen. In this video, we honor the Thorn Birds cast members who have tragically died, celebrating their contributions, remembering their legacy, and exploring the impact they continue to have on generations of viewers. Richard Chamberlain was born on March 30, 1934 in Beverly Hills, California, and portrayed Father Ralph de Bricassar in The Thorn Birds in 1983 at the age of 49. Father Ralph was a deeply conflicted Catholic priest whose magnetic presence and intense inner struggle between ambition, duty, and forbidden love captivated audiences, making him one of the most compelling and emotionally charged figures in television miniseries history. Chamberlain's childhood was a mixture of privilege and emotional complexity. Growing up in a wealthy family provided material comfort, but the pressure to maintain appearances, a strict upbringing, and societal expectations created internal tension that he channeled into his performances. Professionally, he had already achieved fame as Dr. Kildare, which brought both opportunity and the burden of typecasting. Directors and producers often pigeonholed him as the suave romantic lead, limiting his artistic exploration. Chamberlain's personal life remained intensely private, and, for decades, he concealed his homosexuality, in an era when disclosure could have ended his career. He maintained a long-term relationship with actor Martin Rabbitt, revealing it publicly only in 2003, which sparked admiration as well as controversy, given the conservative climate of earlier decades. He faced episodes of depression, bouts of loneliness, and the pressure of maintaining a flawless public image while grappling with private vulnerabilities. Despite these challenges, Chamberlain remained professionally disciplined, earning critical acclaim, multiple Golden Globes, and solidifying his reputation as the king of the miniseries. On March 29, 2025, at the age of 90, he passed away due to complications from a stroke, leaving a net worth of approximately $25 million accumulated through decades of television, film, and stage work. His legacy is one of charisma, emotional depth, and the nuanced portrayal of moral conflict, cementing him as a complex icon whose private struggles added layers to his compelling on-screen presence. Barbara Stanwyck was born on July 16, 1907 in Brooklyn, New York, and portrayed Mary Carson in The Thorn Birds in 1983 at the age of 76. Mary Carson was a formidable, wealthy matriarch whose manipulative strategies and unrequited love for Father Ralph created intense drama, giving the miniseries its underlying tension and emotional weight, and allowing Stanwyck to convey the full spectrum of pride, vulnerability, and cunning in a single performance. Stanwyck's childhood was one of extreme adversity. Orphaned at a young age and raised in foster homes, she endured poverty, neglect, and social marginalization, which instilled resilience, self-reliance, and a fierce determination to survive and excel. Professionally, she navigated the rigid studio system of Hollywood, balancing acclaim with struggles against gendered discrimination, ageism, and the constant pressure to maintain public persona, while commanding high standards from colleagues, earning a reputation as both demanding and exceptionally professional. Her personal life reflected the same intensity and complexity. She managed relationships, discreetly remained fiercely private, and was known for a formidable presence that could intimidate as much as inspire, while avoiding public scandal despite her high-profile career. Stanwyck passed away on January 20, 1990, at the age of 82 from congestive heart failure and chronic pulmonary disease, leaving a net worth estimated at $10 million, including film residuals and real estate holdings, cementing her place in Hollywood history. As an actress whose grit, talent, and strategic intelligence allowed her to craft an enduring, influential legacy across decades of film and television. Christopher Plummer was born on December 13, 1929, in Toronto, Canada, and portrayed Archbishop Vittorio Contini Vercese in The Thorn Birds in 1983 at the age of 53. The Archbishop was a shrewd, politically astute church leader who influenced Father Ralph's trajectory, balancing guidance with subtle manipulation and embodying moral ambiguity, worldly sophistication, and strategic cunning, which added narrative tension and sophistication to the miniseries. Plummer's childhood was shaped by the duality of privilege and pressure. Raised in an educated, cultured family, he absorbed an appreciation for the arts, while contending with early insecurities, an independent streak, and the desire to forge his own path in the shadow of familial expectations. His career was distinguished, yet not without friction. Despite critical acclaim, he faced conflicts with directors and co-stars due to his uncompromising standards, sometimes creating reputational friction on set. Plummer's personal life included 3 marriages and the navigation of complex family dynamics with his daughter Amanda Plummer, all while maintaining the intense focus required for a career spanning 7 decades. He cultivated a reputation for both brilliance and occasional abrasiveness, blending charm with a sharp wit that could unsettle colleagues but also energized performances. Though free from major public scandals, Plummer's private challenges, balancing intense work schedules, personal relationships, and artistic ambitions, added layers of resilience and depth to his character both on and off screen. He passed away on February 5, 2021, at the age of 91 following a fall at home, leaving a net worth of approximately $20 million accumulated from a prolific career that included an Oscar, 2 Tonys, and 2 Emmys, solidifying his legacy as one of the most versatile and disciplined actors in North American stage and screen history. Gene Simmons was born on January 34, 1929, in London, England, and joined the Thorn Birds in 1983 at age 54 to portray Fiona Fee Cleary, the stoic, emotionally restrained matriarch whose quiet yet unyielding presence shaped the lives of the Cleary family across decades of tumult. Fee was a woman of profound resilience, caught between duty, lost love, and societal expectations, and Simmons imbued the role with subtlety, showing how restrained emotion could communicate depths of suffering and unspoken passion, making her performance resonate deeply with audiences who admired her elegance and moral steadfastness. Simmons's early life was fraught with hardship. Born into a working-class family, during the Depression she experienced material deprivation, the early death of her mother's hopes for social mobility, and frequent ridicule at school for her theatrical ambitions and delicate features. These experiences fostered a lifelong tendency to conceal vulnerability beneath discipline and poise traits that would later become hallmarks of her performances. Professionally, Simmons's career was both illustrious and complicated. While celebrated for iconic roles in Spartacus, Guys and Dolls, and Hamlet, she navigated public scrutiny over multiple divorces, the pressures of Hollywood beauty standards, and the challenge of being typecast in dramatic roles, all while maintaining an exacting reputation for professionalism on set. Her personal life reflected these pressures, with tumultuous relationships, periods of intense privacy, and the challenge of balancing stardom with human vulnerability. Simmons passed away on January 22, 2010, at age 80 from lung cancer, leaving an estate valued around $10 million, including residuals, property, and investments, underscoring a career built on enduring talent, meticulous craft, and the ability to bring gravitas and emotional authenticity to one of television's most memorable matriarchs. Her portrayal of Fee Cleary remains a benchmark for nuanced, emotionally rich performances, illustrating both the triumphs and private struggles of a life devoted to art. Earl Holliman was born on September 11, 1928, in Delhi, Louisiana, and joined the Thorn Birds in 1983 at age 55 as Luddy Mueller Ann's devoted, practical, and humorous husband, whose unwavering loyalty and moral grounding provided stability against the series' sweeping emotional upheavals. Luddy was a man of warmth, resilience, and understated heroism, and Holliman's portrayal captured both comedic timing and dramatic depth, allowing audiences to engage with the character's relatability, steadfastness, and quiet emotional intelligence. Holliman's childhood was rooted in a modest, sometimes unstable environment in rural Louisiana, instilling a robust work ethic, adaptability, and a capacity to endure adversity which translated into both his performances and professional reliability. His career spanned decades, including Golden Globe-winning performances in the Rainmaker roles in Policewoman and appearances in Forbidden Planet. Yet he faced the challenges of Hollywood typecasting ageism and the industry's often merciless pace, while cultivating a reputation for generosity, mentorship, and meticulous attention to craft. Off-screen, Holliman's life reflected deep compassion and commitment to causes such as animal rights, serving as president of Actors and Others for Animals, and navigating the pressures of long-term career visibility with discretion and integrity. He passed away on November 25, 2024, at age 96, from natural causes, leaving an estate estimated at $3.5 million, including residuals, property, and charitable contributions, reflecting a lifetime of professional accomplishment and personal dedication. Holliman's legacy endures in the character of Luddy Mueller, whose balance of humor, loyalty, and moral clarity mirrored Holliman's own values, and left an indelible imprint on the Thorn Birds and television history, demonstrating the power of consistency, integrity, and subtle emotional resonance in performance. Piper Laurie was born on January 20, 1932, in Detroit, Michigan, and appeared in The Thorn Birds in 1983 at age 51 as Ann Mueller, a warm, wise, and emotionally attuned friend to Meggie Cleary, whose subtle moral compass and gentle guidance created a stabilizing force amid the drama and betrayal that surrounded the Cleary family. Laurie's Ann was simultaneously nurturing and resilient, embodying a quiet power and integrity that contrasted sharply with the societal rigidity and moral conflicts in the series, and she drew viewers into her character's depth through understated gestures and expressive empathy. Laurie's formative years were marked by financial instability and familial disruption. She was compelled to develop early independence, a strong sense of self, and the ability to navigate social ridicule, teasing, and the pressure to conform, which later informed her capacity to portray emotionally complex women with authority and sensitivity. Her career was punctuated by both acclaim and defiance, nominated 3 times for Academy Awards, and winning a Golden Globe. She delivered unforgettable performances in Carrie the Hustler and Twin Peaks. Yet she faced Hollywood's attempts to manipulate her image, endured contractual disputes, and occasionally clashed with directors who underestimated her autonomy, even while cultivating a reputation for rigorous preparation and intensity on set. Laurie's personal life included passionate but sometimes turbulent relationships, including a brief, revealing romance with Ronald Reagan, as well as a lifelong resistance to the controlling mechanisms of Hollywood publicity, reflecting a woman determined to live on her own terms. She passed away on October 14, 2023, at age 91 from natural causes, leaving a net worth estimated at $5 to $10 million derived from film earnings, television residuals, and strategic investments, highlighting a career built on resilience, artistic integrity, and the ability to portray layered, morally nuanced characters whose quiet strength left an indelible impact on audiences. Ken Howard was born on March 28, 1944, in El Centro, California, and appeared as Rainer Hartheim in The Thorn Birds in 1983 at the age of 39, bringing to the role a composed, authoritative presence that enhanced the series' tension and underscored Howard's natural command of screen space. Hartheim's character, while minor, was integral in demonstrating the subtle power dynamics and moral conflicts of the story, with Howard infusing the role with his trademark gravitas and precision. Howard's childhood was marked by challenges associated with a middle-class upbringing in post-war America, including family instability and early exposure to the social pressures of a competitive environment, shaping the resilience and determination that would later inform both his acting and union leadership. Professionally, Howard achieved fame through The White Shadow and numerous film and television roles. Yet his career was punctuated by health struggles, intense union responsibilities as SAG-AFTRA president, and the personal scrutiny that accompanies high-profile leadership positions. He faced the challenge of balancing advocacy with artistry, including periods of stress that threatened both his health and his focus on acting. Personal life challenges included 3 marriages, public attention to his private affairs, and a kidney transplant that required significant recovery while managing professional obligations. Despite these difficulties, Howard remained a respected figure in Hollywood, admired for both his craft and commitment to protecting the rights of actors. He died on March 23, 2016, at age 71 from pneumonia, complicated by prostate cancer. His estate included performance residuals, personal property, and union-related investments, with a net worth estimated between $2 and $3 million, reflecting a life marked by artistic achievement, dedication to advocacy, and an enduring influence on the acting community and the industry at large. Richard Kiley was born on March 31, 1922, in Chicago, Illinois, and took on the role of Paddy Cleary in The Thorn Birds in 1983 at age 61, portraying the steadfast, devout, and hard-working father whose moral compass and tragic arc defined much of the story's emotional core. Paddy's integrity, unwavering faith, and quiet endurance made him a linchpin of the narrative, eliciting deep empathy from audiences who were captivated by his struggles and heartbreak. Kiley's childhood was marked by financial hardship and a family environment fraught with tension. Growing up in Depression-era Chicago, he experienced scarcity, social marginalization, and frequent teasing, learning early to conceal vulnerability and channel emotion into performance. His career, while decorated with awards and acclaim, was punctuated by intense pressures and moments of professional frustration, including near misses on high-profile roles, creative disagreements, and the occasional typecasting that limited his exposure in Hollywood, despite his extraordinary talent. Behind the dignified public persona, Kiley faced the private strains of maintaining a demanding stage and screen career, navigating personal sacrifices, and managing the stress of sustaining professional excellence over decades. Off-screen, he cultivated a reputation for discipline, precision, and mentorship, though some colleagues noted his exacting standards and occasional reticence in social circles. Kiley passed away on March 5, 1999, at the age of 76, from a bone marrow disease in New York City, leaving an estate valued between $5 to $10 million, including properties, royalties, and investments, a reflection of a career both lucrative and artistically distinguished. His legacy endures not only through his award-winning performances, but also through the subtle power, moral authority, and emotional depth he brought to every role, particularly in The Thorn Birds, where his portrayal of Paddy Cleary remains a touchstone for audiences and actors alike. Rance Howard was born on November 17, 1928, and joined the Thorn Birds in 1983 at age 55 as Doc Wilson, a gentle, reassuring presence whose moral steadiness and quiet empathy provided an essential counterbalance to the stormy lives of the Clearys. Doc Wilson's kindness and loyalty made him beloved by audiences, but off-screen Howard's life was shaped by decades of working in Hollywood as a supporting actor, where he faced the constant grind of minor roles, typecasting, and the industry's often harsh hierarchies. His childhood in Newkirk, Oklahoma, was marked by economic hardship during the Great Depression, early exposure to illness, and frequent moves that forced him to develop independence and emotional resilience while concealing vulnerability from peers. Professionally, Howard built a career defined by consistency rather than stardom, but even he endured setbacks, being overlooked for prominent roles, navigating tense relationships with casting directors, and coping with the pressures of being part of a high-profile Hollywood family, including his son Ron Howard's meteoric rise, which occasionally cast a shadow over his own accomplishments. Personal life brought its own challenges, from maintaining family stability amid Hollywood's temptations to negotiating the balance between career and fatherhood. Despite these pressures, he maintained a reputation for humility and professionalism. Yet insiders noted his deep sense of quiet sacrifice and the emotional toll of a lifetime of supporting roles. Rance Howard passed away on November 25, 2017, at 89, from heart failure complicated by West Nile virus, leaving behind an estate valued at $2 to $3 million, derived from decades of acting work residuals and family investments, securing a legacy defined by reliability, artistry, and devotion to both craft and family. Rachel Ward was born on September 12, 1957, and joined the Thorn Birds in 1983 at age 26 as Meggie Cleary, the passionate, resilient woman torn between love ambition and family duty, a performance that earned her a Golden Globe nomination and international acclaim. Meggie's character was both intensely emotional and morally complex, capturing audiences with her vulnerability, strength, and enduring sense of sacrifice in the face of societal and personal pressures. Ward's childhood in Oxfordshire, England, was framed by a mixture of privilege and instability. Her family's social expectations and early exposure to boarding schools demanded emotional fortitude and cultivated a guarded independence, shaping her ability to navigate Hollywood's pressures later in life. Professionally, Ward experienced the highs of critical recognition, but also faced early challenges including rejection from Hollywood's mainstream roles, typecasting as the ethereal beauty, and the intense scrutiny surrounding her personal relationships, particularly the very public courtship and marriage to actor Brian Brown, which attracted tabloid fascination. Behind the glamour, she managed the difficulties of raising 3 children while pursuing directing and screenwriting projects like Beautiful Kate and Rachel's Farm, balancing family obligations with professional ambition, and occasionally confronting industry skepticism regarding her directorial capabilities. Despite these pressures, she maintained a relatively scandal-free public profile, though insider accounts reveal a determined, sometimes uncompromising approach to both creative and personal decisions. Rachel Ward is currently 67, continuing to work as a director, writer, and advocate, with an estimated net worth of $10 million accrued through her multifaceted career in acting, directing, and screenwriting, leaving an enduring legacy as a performer of depth and an artist of substantial cultural influence. Alan Ann McCleary was born on December 1, 1926 in Quebec, Canada, and appeared as Mrs. Smith in The Thorn Birds in 1983 at the age of 57, portraying a gentle, observant, and quietly influential presence, whose subtle interventions shaped the narrative and guided the audience's emotional response. Mrs. Smith's calm intelligence and moral insight allowed McCleary to showcase the nuanced charm and depth that marked her Broadway and television career. Her childhood was colored by early exposure to performance, yet framed by economic and cultural challenges in a Canadian household where she faced teasing and social obstacles that required resilience and emotional self-control. Professionally, McCleary navigated the high demands of Broadway before transitioning to television, facing the intense scrutiny, rejection, and physical toll inherent in musical performance and acting. She endured occasional clashes with directors and co-stars over artistic interpretation, but maintained a reputation for professionalism and grace. Personal life challenges included sustaining a long marriage to actor George Gaines, raising a family in the public eye, and balancing career ambitions with domestic responsibilities, navigating the private pressures and occasional disappointments that accompanied her longevity in entertainment. Despite these pressures, she remained committed to her craft, mentoring younger performers and engaging in charitable work, demonstrating an enduring dedication to the arts. McCleary died on May 21, 2018, at age 91 from Alzheimer's disease. Her estate included decades of performance royalties, personal property, and artistic memorabilia, with a net worth estimated between $1 and $2 million, reflecting a life of achievement, grace, and sustained contribution to stage and screen, leaving behind a legacy of refined artistry and personal integrity. Nan Martin was born on July 15, 1927, and joined the Thorn Birds in 1983 at age 56 as Sister Agatha, the austere, uncompromising nun whose stern guidance and unwavering discipline created intense dramatic tension with Maggie Cleary. Sister Agatha's rigid moral code and occasional coldness rendered her simultaneously feared and respected, leaving a lasting impression on audiences as a figure who epitomized institutional authority and ethical conflict. Martin's early life in Decatur, Illinois was overshadowed by modest means, parental pressure, and social scrutiny that cultivated a combination of resilience, self-reliance, and an ability to conceal emotion traits that translated seamlessly into her stage and screen performances. Her professional trajectory spanned decades, encompassing roles in films like A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and television staples such as The Drew Carey Show, but she navigated frequent typecasting as stern, authoritative women and had to contend with the occasional gossip-fueled tension with co-stars and producers. Off-screen, Martin's personal life was marked by two marriages, first to composer Robert Emmett Dolan, and later to architect Harry Gessner, both of which had their turbulent moments, including long separations and the pressures of dual careers in high-demand industries. Health struggles later in life, particularly emphysema, added additional strain, yet she continued to act and inspire younger performers with her dedication. Nan Martin passed away on March 4, 2010 at age 82, from emphysema, leaving a net worth estimated at $1 to $2 million, built from a sustained career in film, television, and theater, preserving a legacy of versatility, discipline, and commanding screen presence that continues to resonate. Thank you for watching as we reflected on the lives and legacies of the actors from the Thorn Birds who are no longer with us. Their humor, charm, and unforgettable performances brought joy to millions and helped shape the show into a classic. While their journeys ended far too soon, their impact lives on through every scene, every laugh, and every memory they've left behind. As we honor their lives, we're reminded of how deeply television can touch our hearts. Join us next time as we look back at more stars who left us too soon, but whose stories continue to shine.